Myself Dr. W. Gangale from Kamlanidhi Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur. Today I am going to discuss the techniques of colorimetry and spectrophotometry and what is the application of this colorimetry and spectrophotometry. So the topic is again now here the colorimetry and spectrophotometry part 2. In the previous part we have seen the basic principle of photometry, and now here we are going to see the techniques of colorimetry and spectrophotometry. As we know that here different methods are there for the comparison of different colors, and the colorimetric technique is based on the fact that color intensity of the solution changes with the concentration of the solution. The colorimetric method of analysis involves comparison of the color intensity of unknown solution with the known solution, and therefore the determination of unknown concentration is possible. For color comparison, there are three different methods shown in the slide. One is a visual colorimetry, second is photoelectric colorimetry, and third is spectrophotometry. So these are the methods for comparison of different techniques for the comparison of the color. And now in the next slide, here in case of visual colorimetry, there are again now this visual comparison of the color can be carried out by using these three methods. So these are the three methods involved in the visual colorimetry, and in this method color comparison is done by our eyes only and no particular instrument is used. Visual comparison of the colors can be done by various methods like a standard series method, duplication method, and balancing method, and the visual colorimetric method does not give accurate result, and hence it is not much useful in the analytical chemistry. So these are not much more accurate, and therefore these are the only initial methods for the comparison of the color, so known as the visual method. But now we are going to see in slight details about the different three methods. So first method is a standard series method. So in this method the Nessler's tube rack is shown in the figure, and in this method the intensity of the unknown solution with that of the series of standard solution of known concentration is compared. The concentration of the unknown is equal to that of the standard solution having the same intensity of the color can be compared. Colorless glass tube having uniform cross section with flat bottom are generally used. They are known as the Nessler tube. The Nessler tubes are placed in the modified test tube rack, which is provided with a inclined opal glass and a reflector or mirror arranged to reflect light up through the tubes, and the tube rests on the narrow wooden strip in the rack and do not come in contact with the mirror. So in this way we can compare the color intensity by using this standard series method. So standard solution is one and another unknown solution, and then it is possible to compare the color by visualizing the color of this. So in this way, by comparing the color of known and unknown, the color intensity can be compared. So this is one method, and second method is a duplication method. And in this duplication method we have to take the solution of the 25 ml or 50 ml of the sample in the Nessler's tube again, and measured volume of the reagent is added to the solution. In this solution reagent is added, and after that another Nessler tube an equal volume of the water and the same volume of the reagent is placed. The two tubes are then we have to compare, place in the Nessler tube rack. After placing in the rack, the standard solution of the species being determined. It is then added in a blank from the microburette till the color of the two solutions match. From the volume of the standard of the unknown can be determined. This method is less accurate than standard series method. So this is one duplication method, and color can also be again here can be compared, but this is less accurate as compared to first method, standard series method. And a third method is also there, which is known as the balancing method, and from this balancing method Debusky colorimeter shown in this figure can be used. and the intensity of the color of the unknown and that of the standard is compared in the two tubes. The height of the solution in one tube can be adjusted in such a way that when tubes are viewed vertically downward, the intensity of the color of the two solutions are equal. Since the concentration of the solution is in one tube is known, that in other can be calculated with the help of Beer-Lambert law. So in next slide, it is shown the Beer-Lambert law. We have to take the two solutions. For first solution, Beer-Lambert law equation is A equal to epsilon B1 C1, and for second solution A equal to epsilon B2 C2. And now therefore we can write E epsilon B1 C1 equals to epsilon B2 C2, or we can also write B1 C1 B2 C2. Therefore from this equation B1 B2 can be measured, and C1 the concentration of the standard solution is also known. Therefore C2 the concentration of the unknown solution can be calculated by using the formula given here. So by knowing the values of B1, B2, C1 and C2 value, unknown solution concentration can be determined by using this balancing method. So these are the three visual methods for the comparison of the color intensity. And next part is now photoelectric colorimeter. In case of photoelectric colorimeter, in this case, in place of our human eye is replaced by a sensitive detector such as photocell for measuring the light intensity or for color comparison. Similarly, appropriate wavelength selection is also possible by using the filters. The instrument used in this technique is known as the colorimeter. Sometimes it is known as photometer, or also known as the photoelectric colorimeter. The instrument is useful in the working in visible range, that is from 400 nanometer to 750 nanometer wavelength. And the box diagram is shown here, the geometric diagram for this. This is the source, then slit, diaphragm, cuvette and galvanometer. So this colorimeter consists of different parts. So various parts are there, components are there. First part is the source, shown here, yes for source. And tungsten filament lamp is used as a source for getting the light radiation in visible range. And second part is the filter. So the light coming from the source is then passed through the filter. So filters are here. Here is the filters, and after passing through the filter, the desired wavelength of light and cut off the remaining unwanted wavelength. So the main purpose of filter is the filter allow band of definite and desired wavelength of light and cut off the remaining unwanted wavelength. Filters are of two types, generally absorption filters and interference filters. So first part is the source, second is a filter, and third part is a sample cell. Also generally we know the cuvette. And in colorimeter, usually glass cuvette of cylindrical shape are used. The diameter of the sample cell is generally 1 centimeter. Fourth part is detector. Detector is used to measure the intensity of the transmitted light through the sample solution. And generally cell or phototube is used as a detector. In this detector there is a photosensitive material. When light from the electrons are ejected and some current is generated, this current can be amplified and measured. The intensity of the light falling on the detector can also be determined from the magnitude of current produced. So this is the block diagram of this photoelectric colorimeter, and last component is the measuring device. Usually simple galvanometer is used as a measuring device, but nowadays instruments are provided with a direct reading analog meter, or also known as digital display, which directly measure the absorbance or percentage transmittance. So nowadays digital photoelectric colorimeter is also available, and in which the devices are there, digital display, which give direct value of measure the or give the value of absorbance or optical density or the percentage transmittance. So which is known as also digital colorimeter. So these are the main part of this photoelectric colorimeter. Now there is also one more, that is a double beam photoelectric colorimeter is there, and here in this diagram it is shown that two beams are being you have to use, and to operate this instrument null balance galvanometer is adjusted mechanically to bring the needle at middle or mid scale with the lamp off. Then lamp is switched on and blank solution is kept in a both light beams. The potentiometer dial is adjusted to read 100% transmittance, and then slide wire constant R1 is adjusted to null galvanometer standard, and the unknown solution are introduced into the measurement beam, and wire contact is adjusted to re-null the meter. The transmitter's absorbance can then be read from the potentiometer dial. So here this is the arrangement or the block diagram again here for double beam photoelectric colorimeter. So the source is here, tungsten lamp, slit is here, filters are here, and after that samples we have to put here. First we have to take the standard solution and solution, and then our solution, and photovoltaic cells are here, and these are here also reference. So beam of the radiation after pass through the photovoltaic cell is here, also here, and meeting here what is giving the deflection here from this and also from this. We have to adjust here the knob of 100% transmitter, and we have to after adjusting we get here percentage transmittance of the or the absorbance of the solution. So this is the arrangement here. So two solution we have to use, one sample solution and here is a reference. And in the next method is a spectrophotometry, and spectrophotometry also used. It is similar to the colorimetry, principle is same, but slight differences are there in spectrophotometry. So in this technique, color comparison is also carried out by using more sophisticated instrument. This sophisticated instrument is known as spectrophotometer. The word spectrophotometer is based on the fact that the instrument consists of two major parts. First part is spectrometer, and spectrometer is a device for wavelength separation, and second part is a photometer, and it is a device for measuring the intensity of light. So two parts are there, spectrometer and photometer. So spectrophotometer are useful in visible as well as in the UV range depending upon the model. And diagram is shown here. Source is there, then entrance slit, dispersion unit, exit slit, detector, measuring device is here. So this is the block diagram for the spectrophotometer. And again now there are different parts, and this spectrophotometer consists of different component. First number is a source. For visible range, a tungsten filament lamp is used. For UV range, a hydrogen or deuterium lamp is used as a source. And the second part is monochromator. The monochromator actually consists of an entrance slit, dispersion device, and exit slit. So second part is a monochromator, and third part is a sample cell, or also known as cuvette. For visible range, cuvette made up of glass or quartz, that is silica, can be used, but for UV range only the quartz cuvette are useful. This is because glass is opaque to the UV radiation. Cuvette can be different types, cylindrical or rectangular shapes. And a fourth component is a detector. In the spectrophotometer, there are low cost spectrophotometer is also there and high cost spectrophotometers are there. In case of low cost spectrophotometer, simple phototube is used as a detector, while in costly instrument, photomultiplier tube is used as a detector. In principle, in both the detector, the light falling on it the detector generates a photocurrent, the magnitude of which is directly depends on the intensity of light falling on the detector. However, photo multiplier tube is many times more sensitive than photo tube. And last component is the measuring device. Different measuring devices are used, such as a digital display, analog meter, and nowadays some instruments are also provided with an automatic recorder with a pen and graph paper. So automatically also we can get the graph of that by using this instrument, spectrophotometer. So this is the spectrophotometry, and spectrophotometers are of different types, and single beam is also there and double beam spectrophotometers are there. And so in the next slide, this is the instrument which shows single beam spectrophotometer, and here this is the source of light, and then entrance slit, it comes here, here is a grating, it reflects, and here is a imaging photo tube or photo multiplier tube which can detect the intensity of light. And therefore this is one instrument which, and generally in the exam question is asking here, draw the diagram for single beam spectrophotometer or double beam spectrophotometer. So, and in case of double beam spectrophotometer, this is the arrangement. So here source of the light, here is a UV light, and here is a visible light, tungsten lamp visible region. So two sources are there here. Deuterium lamp is here as a UV source, and visible source is here as a tungsten lamp. This light from both these radiations come to this mirror, and then they reflected, and here is a grating. Again after that it come to this arrangement is here in this way, and here is a meter to detect the current produced. And after that, so this is the schematic diagram of double beam spectrophotometer. So there is a single beam and double beam spectrophotometer, and after this we are going to see, so what is the difference between what is the colorimetry and spectrophotometry. So there are some differences. Principle of both the techniques are same, but some differences are there in colorimeter and spectrophotometer. So first point is, in the colorimeter, filter is used for separation of wavelength, while in case of spectrophotometer, monochromator or consisting of prism or some gratings are used. So this is the difference. And second difference of point is that in the colorimeter colorimeter is useful only for the visible range, that is between 400 to 750 nanometer wavelength, while in the spectrophotometer in spectrophotometer it is useful in both UV as well as visible range. And the third point is that colorimeter has ordinary barrier layer cell as a detector which is less sensitive, while in spectrophotometer more sensitive detector such as phototube or photomultiplier tube are used. And last point is that difference, colorimeter is relatively cheaper instrument, but spectrophotometer is very costly instrument, and the result obtained by spectrophotometer are very accurate as compared to the colorimeter. And in the next slide now, these are some applications of colorimeter and spectrophotometer. Determination of concentration of unknown solution of metal ion, determination of stability constant, determination of pK value of indicator, simultaneous spectrophotometric determination of metal ions. But here, out of number of applications, we are going to see the one important application, that is the determination of concentration of unknown solution. And for this is the important application, and also there is a practical on this part. So out of various application, so one application, that is determination of concentration of unknown solution of metal ion, we are giving here, and simple method is there and 3 steps are there to determine the concentration. The concentration of metal ion can be determined by colorimetric technique if the metal ion is absorbed in visible range, or in other words, metal ion solution is colored. In this case, if the solution of metal ion has characteristic color, it can be used as such for colorimetric determination. If the metal ions are not colored, then the solution is treated with some suitable reagent so that colored compound is formed, which can be used for colorimetric determination. For example, Fe2 plus ion, which are green colored, can be determined after treatment with the 110 phenolphthalein, which forms a red colored complex, and with Fe2 plus ion. Similarly, Cu2 plus copper ion can be colorimetrically estimated after complexing it with the ammonia solution to form deep blue colored complex. So here in this slide shown, copper forms deep blue color complex with ammonia. So this is the Cu2 plus ammonia and forming this tetraamine copper 2 plus complex, which is deep blue in color. And so this determination of concentration of Cu2 plus ion colorimetrically or spectrophotometrically consists of following. There are three steps. First step is the preparation of standard series of solution. Second step is the determination of lambda max. And third step is the preparation of calibration curve and determination of unknown concentration. So first step is preparation of standard series of solution. So here we have to first of all we have to take the 10 test tubes bigger size, then take the solution of copper deep blue solution in all the with a different volume. In, for example, in first tube 1 ml, then 2 ml, 3, like that, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10 ml. Then add in this the ammonia solution 10 ml or 15 ml. After that add the sufficient water. So prepare this copper ammonia solution system for the known solution. So similarly also prepare one system for unknown solution. So known 10 systems are there and one unknown systems are there. After making the standard series solution, then second part is the determination of lambda max. So by taking any one solution out of 10 systems, then measure the absorbance of this solution and at different wavelength, and after that plot the graph between absorbance and wavelength, and it is observed that the maximum absorbance is here. So this gives the maximum absorbance here and correspond to this wavelength. So select that maxima correspond to the wavelength, that is the we can say that is the lambda max, and therefore we can say that lambda max is the wavelength at which maximum absorption takes place. So the second step is the determination of lambda max. Once we know the lambda max, then measure the absorbance of all the 10 systems and unknown systems. So last third step is the then preparation of calibration curve. So here after the measuring the absorbance, then we have to measure absorbance of percentage transmitter, and using the reagent blank, then we can calculate the absorbance, and in the similar manner also determine the absorbance of standard solution and also unknown solution, and then plot the graph after measuring the absorbance of the 10 known system and one unknown system. Then plot the graph between concentration of the solution and absorbance. So these are the points obtained in one line, and straight line is obtained here, and straight line obtained passing through the origin, it verify the BS law, and also after getting straight line, and now take the absorbance of unknown solution. Here suppose absorbance is here of unknown, then draw this line here on this calibration curve, and then corresponding here is the corresponding here value is the concentration of that unknown solution. So this is known as the after plotting the graph, straight line is obtained. This is known as calibration curve, and on the basis of this calibration curve, the concentration of unknown solution can be determined. In this way, unknown absorbance of unknown solution, suppose here 1.2 or 1.3. So draw this line here on this calibration curve, and corresponding value is the concentration of that unknown solution. In this way, from the graph, the concentration of unknown solution can be determined. So there are three steps of the in the application of determination of concentration of unknown solution of metal ion. So first step is to prepare the standard series of solution for unknown. So for known solution and unknown solution, we have to make the standard series solutions, and then the second step is the determination of lambda max, and third step is the preparation of calibration curve, and after that determine the concentration of unknown solution. So these are the three steps in the application or the determination of concentration of unknown solution of metal ion. So today we stop here, and here we have completed the colorimetry and spectrophotometry, and today we have seen the techniques of colorimetry and spectrophotometry. The techniques are both are same, and we have seen what is the difference between colorimetry technique and spectrophotometry, and if there are number of applications of this colorimeter or spectrophotometer, but the important application one that we have seen, determination of concentration of metal ion by, and for that case three steps are there, and determination of concentration of metal ion like copper 2+ ion can be carried out by using this colorimeter and spectrophotometer.